right, protest mom, ready with my election night shirt. Ain't that cute? Yay. And what goes better with this shirt than a pearl necklace? Just saying. Here we go. It's Monday, and I know everyone is anxious, or at least that's what I'm seeing on Twitter. I'm seeing a lot of anxiety. I'm seeing a lot of, and I get it. There's a part of me that wants this whole fucking election to be over with as well, just so I can go back to what I started this summer, which is protesting all the time and cuddling my kids during distance learning, because there's no way in hell that they're going to be able to stay in DPS for the rest of the year. We all know that there's a big retraction coming. Amazing. Because we haven't even experienced the first wave fully. We're done anything to contain this epidemic. So why not? How in the world are we supposed to pretend everything's normal when nothing is normal at all? And how are we supposed to stay engaged when it's boring as fuck? And it is, y'all. I'm trying, the reason I started doing this at all was to encourage people who might be on the fence about covering their face, wearing a balaclava in the middle of the afternoon, or standing behind people breaking windows to still show up and do something. Like, it's not break windows or stay home. That is a lane. It is necessary. Direct action matters. And I'm never going to tell anyone not to break that window. I'm never going to chastise a person for breaking that window. I got nothing to say about any of that. What I'm here to do is grab the people who have a sign in their yard that says Black Lives Matter, who feel really bad about the unhoused, even though they don't see homeless people that often, but they do. They don't know what to do about it. It's the people who have a conscience, who have a little something in there that says, I want to participate, but don't see a space for themselves to do so effectively. I want to make your entry into this movement as seamless as possible while protecting the people who are out there doing the real work, the hard work, the work that comes with much bigger consequences. There's something to be said for showing up in the way that I'm asking y'all to show up tonight. And again, I know city council is boring, but that's, again, I came back here to make this a little bit more interesting for you, to throw my spicy ass commentary and run my fresh ass mouth throughout every 6-hour meeting, reminding you that this is intentional. They want you to tap out. For years, we did, right? If it didn't hurt us and the police weren't beating our children and we didn't feel threatened, we didn't do shit. And we've been not doing shit for a really long fucking time. So I am begging you, if you're white, if you think of yourself as progressive, but you're not really sure what the difference between progressive and liberal is, and you're scared to say leftist because that sounds like feminist, and those are really strong, scary words, and you don't want to scare people because as a white woman, there are literal consequences to scaring people. Ask me how I know. Seriously. But the fact that I'm present saying all this shit makes it easier for you to be in the room and say, well, she's right. Because you standing up and you saying these things means that you will have to deal with the consequences. This is me flexing. This is me using 42 years of privilege, cashing in every bit of clout I've had for this moment to remind all of you that this has nothing to do with the presidential election. In fact, there are a whole lot of Black people who don't vote, and I'm not about to shame them for it either. Which of these two oppressors do you choose? I like the way Elizabeth Epps framed it, Elizabeth of the Colorado Freedom Fund. I'm choosing who I want to protest against. And I really personally want to protest against Joe Biden. But I ain't going to stop protesting against Joellen Clark, that son of a bitch, representing every developer that puts money in his pocket as opposed to the district where I reside that he's supposed to be looking after. And every single person who has ever told Candy to raise her hand. So I'm going to go through, I keep these little tickers, but I'm going to remind you of some of the things that have happened at City Council. So what's happening tonight is the approval, and this is why you need to care. This is the approval of the budget. If you want to defund police, if you've been talking about that, if you've been anything about blah, blah, blah police, then you need to get your ass to City Council tonight because Candy Tabaka is doing that. She is literally defunding. Now, this is not a full-on abolition bill, and if you want to do a purity test, you can stay home and do that. But I promise you, this is taking money away from the police, amending the budget, and I'm going to tell you where it's going to go in just a minute. But this is why it matters, because we have to be there, because when we're not watching, this is how they talk to Candy Tabaka. This is how they talk to the only person speaking truth to power in a room full of power. If we're not there to watch and boo, they go off the fucking rails. You have got to show up and stay through the key votes. I'll buy pizza. Okay, y'all? I'll buy pizza. My husband hear that. He's mad at me how much money I spent this month. Okay. This is what it's like when you're not the breadwinner, but you're trying to do all the mutual aid for all the people. So Candy is going to be there in person. You like her? Yeah, she's great. Let's go show up. And she is nervous about making this a super spreader event. She is terrified. And I can't blame her that she will be blamed for another wave of unwellness in the city, another round of COVID. Wear a fucking mask. And for the love of God, wear a balaclava. There has never been a better time to show up covered in everything. Fucking cover your face. We're going to have live streamers there. We need to have live streamers there. Don't come down too hard on the live streamers. They need to show that people are present. And the best way to sort of, block the live streamers from doing any damage is to make sure there are more than 4 people there. Bring your friends. Bring a date. Call your protest crush and say, hey, tomorrow might not happen. How about tonight? Bring them to city council. We'll put them on the live stream. Good Lord. What do we have to do to get you to give a shit? I'm so tired of yelling. Like, you can't tell me how much you care and only show up when you get to break shit. You cannot tell me how much you care if you're not doing mutual aid. There are people out there in the freezing cold doing this all the time or showing up in the halls of power demanding that they listen. Every Monday night from here till the rest of the year, I'm going to be dressing up in the pearls, bringing all the respectability I can to the table because they have to listen to me, and I'm going to make them listen to you as well. But I can't do that if you're not there. Please, I know you think you have better things to do, but I promise there's nothing better to do in this moment. Okay? Let's go a little bit further. Candy's going to be there. Remember this number, see that at the bottom of the screen? The very first time Hancock introduced his budget, I pulled that number out because it made me mad. Why did it make me mad? Let's use that. It's called a benchmark. When you have in a whole sea of numbers, you need one that you keep coming back to that gives you a sense of relativity. In this proposed budget, Hancock wants to spend $3.5 million on convention center operations. What did I say at the beginning of this broadcast? One of the things that I said, I talk fast and I talk a lot and I throw a lot at you. I know this. I'm trying real hard, y'all. There's a lot to say. I try to keep these short. So this matters because how much money have we asked for in the budget this year to help the unhoused? I'll wait. Do you know? What have we asked for versus what have community leaders said that we need? And how does that compare to $3.5 million on convention center operations? If you know off the top of your head, I'll come back to the comments in a minute, but I'm going to go through my little banners first. So the reason that number is egregious, we are coming into another wave of COVID. There are outbreaks happening all over the country right now. People are really nervous. Denver's budget, Denver's bootlicking, ableist, racist budget is predicated upon an uptick in our main source of revenue, tourism and sports. If COVID's getting worse, do you really think a budget in 2021 predicated on a bounce back in tourism and stadium sports makes sense? I'm going with no. And to that end, do you think there are going to be many conventions happening if COVID is expanding and there's no air travel or air travel is dangerous? So we're betting the farm on keeping the convention center open, which granted is jobs. And I get that. I'm not one for eliminating jobs, but I'd much rather furlough some police officers than spend money to make money in the middle of an epidemic and an economic recession where people are losing their jobs, getting really sick, scared to travel, and aren't going to spend lots and lots of money on luxury items, like pretending like COVID isn't happening to come here and watch a fucking Rockies game. So there's that. We are talking about developers that are proposing pickleball courts instead of affordable housing. Again, with the city in crisis, the budget is it's ridiculous. It is totally disconnected from reality. If one of my kids came to me with this, if one of my students had come to me with this, when I was a banker, if one of my analysts had come to me with this, I'd be like, what the hell is wrong with you? Go home. And I might have had a lot of fun shaming them because what they came up with was so stupid. And I don't even like shaming people, but that's how stupid and poorly thought out this budget actually is. It keeps his friends, Hancock's friends, his donors, the big wealthy people who run Denver, it keeps them from having to spend money out of their pocket into their pet projects like the art museum and the botanical garden. Oh, God. So, because they're not getting cut at all, and I don't think they should be, but I think them family rich as fuck. And if there's a budget shortfall, their board needs to pony up. That's what a board is for of a nonprofit. Jesus, you don't put that on the taxpayers, and it's putting it on the taxpayers. I also think it's horrifying that we're still having to entertain stuff from his developers while they continue to pollute the environment. And then as we had to put a tax to clean it up on the budget. No, that's not our tax to pay. That's for the developers to pay as they tear the city apart. But I'm losing people, and I don't want to lose all of you. Just saying here, as I get so mad about this, get mad, care, get mad and show up. So this is why, going back to keep this number in your head, $3.5 million on convention center operations in an imaginary budget that pretends that we're going to see a bounce back in air travel and leisure travel, and sports travel in 2021. When it's been postulated that we might not even have kids in school full time, again, back to normal in September 2021 anywhere. But here we go. Here are Candace Baca's budget amendments that we need to email right now. I'm going to put a link in here in the comments and make it real easy for you to do that. Just click that link. It'll open it up and automatically email everybody. Here's what Candy is asking for, and we have to show up in person to support. Number one, $20 million for housing solutions to be implemented immediately. Number two, $2 million for marijuana equity development. It's going to create jobs too. $2 million for cooperative business development. Anyone who's watching this probably doesn't care much about that, but rest assured, you want to know more about it, Candy is going to talk about it tonight. $1 million for legal eviction defense aid. $300,000 for trash services for our current unhoused neighbors. That's less than the cost of 5 sweeps. Less. So we could have a sit-in, or we could just grab all the unhoused and have a shit-in. I'm for the shit-in personally. I'd do that in a ball gown next to every one of our unhoused neighbors on some of those beautiful developer plots of land. I'm all for it. But that is what the trash services is for. Instead of saying, oh, wow, unhoused people, you so nasty, how about we work with them to keep their environment clean, huh? It's not a huge ask. It's acknowledging that they exist. It's catering to the problem by providing solutions through a public health policy responsible framework, unlike this ridiculous, sorry excuse for a budget that a high school student could have come up with something better in an economics class. That's all I have to say about that. Thanks. I love the tank too. Maga, you're a motherfucking asshole, you stupid ass son of a bitch. Yay. Thank you. I love my hair. I am not single. Oh, thank you. I flipped my hair because I do look good. Thank you. I'm feeling myself. I got my eyelashes done. It's pretty great. Nope. I am married. I've had 4 children. And let me tell you, there are the parts that you think you want to see right now, they're not the parts you want to look at. It's even worse when my mouth is open. Yay. Thank you, Enid Cox. I appreciate you. So 1 second, I'm going to flip over here and get you. Going to copy this link. Click that link right there in the comments. So it should be popping up right now. Click that link and it'll automatically send an email to all of your city council representatives to tell them that you support Candace Baca and that you hope they will as well. We need 7 to get this to pass. And there are 2 who are on the fence who I think we can convince them to do it, but they need your input. It is literally their job to represent you, and they cannot do that if they don't know what you think. So even if you're not as outspoken as I am, or profane as I am, or as passionate about any of this as I am, all you have to do is click the link. Click the link. Just click the link. Send the email. Sign your name. Sign your name. You have to put your name at the bottom. Sign your name. Click the link. Change it. Sign your name. Send it on, and then show up tonight. Please. Free pizza. Free pizza at City Council, 4th floor of the City and County Building, 1431 Bannock Street. Yay! And Good luck getting through tonight as well as tomorrow. I know it's a lot, but that's the best we can hope for in the next 4 years. I'm personally not convinced that Biden's going to win, and not because I want him to lose. But I hate the fucker. That's for sure. I would rather have him than Trump. At the end of the day, though, I think the country is vastly underestimating how much support Trump actually has and how hated liberals actually are. And I'm with them. I fucking hate liberals too. That's why I'm a leftist. So there's that. With that in mind, show up tonight, city council, be with a whole bunch of friendlies, and let's do something tangible that's going to make you feel good and solve even a small problem for a person in need tonight, and something that we should not have to do if the mayor had a budget that made sense and actually addressed the needs of the most vulnerable amongst us. I resent that I have to do this, and you should resent this too. If I could appeal to any part of you, it would be that you've already paid taxes, you've invested in your community, and you shouldn't have to do mutual aid. It shouldn't be necessary once taxes are paid when the government's functioning properly. And it is not. There you go. You're coached, you're loved. I hope to see you tonight. Please be a good person, a brilliant person, a wonderful person like Enid here, and click the link that I just put in there. Yay. And email your reps. We got to support Candy all the way. We've got to support these ballot initiatives. We've got to support these budget amendments, and we've got to stop this budget. Thank you.